Here's your host, Alex Garrett.
All right, welcome inside Alex Garrett Podcasting. First of all, a big thank you to Nick Singh for yesterday joining my podcast. And secondly, thank you for listening. Do you know this podcast, Alex Garrett Podcasting, since its inception in January of 2014, we've gone through a lot of name changes, but overall, the platform has reached 20,000 plays on a whole bunch of areas, by the way. We got iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora, I don't know, but Spreaker.com as well, and other outlets that just are picking this up left and right. So thank you for bringing notice to this, for helping me and helping this podcast grow and reach 20,000 plays. Couldn't do it without you. And you know what else we can't do without these days? It is the internet. It is the World Wide Web, the Internet of Things. And for New York City, yes, our tourism is down right now. Our cops are being handcuffed, so to speak, and being told to go after the wrong people, in my view. But you know what else is happening underneath all of these debates about statues, underneath all of these debates about the police, how we handle the police, debates about shutdown, debate about everything else? You know what we missed last year alone? A report by Comptroller Scott Stringer. Well, Crane's Business didn't miss this. Ryan Deffenbaugh didn't miss this. But the Comptroller, Scott Stringer of New York City, found that 917,239 households, which is 29% of the city, by the way, have no broadband access as of last year. Can you imagine New York City, 8 million people, millions walking around per day in this beautiful city, in the Big Apple. And yet the Big Apple is disconnected from the world for 917,000 of our residents? And the mayor is so worried about Columbus's statue, and the mayor is so worried about police, and the rioting. Well, not even the rioting, but the police behavior, not the rioters' behavior. He is so worried about a 0.2% rate of infection here. Okay, 6.5%, whatever you want to say. The high positivity rate is true. That is alarming with COVID. But that's 0.2% of the city overall. The governor mapped that out, actually. Couldn't believe in his map. He actually admitted, yeah, that's only 0.2%, but we're going to lock everything down. We're going to lock down those who can't do indoor dining. You're going to suffer even more. But underneath all of this, a big deal has been missed. And I'm going to share it with you right here on Alex Garrett Podcasting. Do you know what that big deal is? The big deal is Verizon Wireless is going to expand broadband to 500,000 city homes under court settlement. This is a lawsuit that dates back to 2017, according to Ryan Deffenbaugh, where de Blasio's administration charged Verizon did not live up to a 2008 deal with Mayor Michael Bloomberg to bring its high-speed Fios service to every household in the 5 boroughs by 2014. Of all the things you complain about the mayor, this one he's spot on. Especially after you see this comptroller report that 29% of the city are not equipped with internet. Especially when you see kids are being told to stay home and parents are being blamed, in fact called by child services, if internet's not in the house. Well, whose fault is that, Mayor de Blasio? It's not the parents' fault. Stop shaming the parents. I'm glad you did this lawsuit, but then don't go and say, oh, hey, parents, I know you 29% may not have internet access, but that's your fault. Meanwhile, you're in a lawsuit with Verizon, so stop blaming the parents. You know who's at fault. It's not the parents. So why are Child Protective Services going after hardworking parents just trying to get kids on their Zoom, just trying to get their kids educated in a pandemic, in a blended schedule, which you believe works? So the mayor has, interestingly enough, and the administration given an incredible Christmas gift to 500,000 city homes. Broadband access. Verizon spokesperson Rich Young said that the company is grateful for the opportunity. Hey, Rich, if you're so grateful at Verizon, why are you having to be sued about this? It will expand on services provided to 2.5 million businesses and families in the city. Verizon's defense was that in 2017 it spent nearly $4 billion building a broadband network in New York City and fulfilled its obligations under the deal. While de Blasio's claim is that it did not. And clearly it didn't if 917,000 homes were internetless. So Verizon now will be reporting quarterly on its progress in connection with 500,000 households. Corporate counsel for the city, James Johnson, is saying. Verizon coverage also will provide a second option for many homes that currently have only one internet provider to choose from, typically Optimum or Spectrum. The expansion timeline will be added to the Verizon franchise agreement with the city, and the company must reach 500,000 households with Fios by 2023, starting with a minimum of 225,000 households in the first half of next year. So yes, indeed, this is a bit of a Christmas present. It may not come in right away, but it's coming. The digital divide is a real thing. Unfortunately, even I get lost in the craziness of what's going on, so I didn't realize 917,000 families are without internet. That is discouraging. That is very discouraging. Because we're supposed to be a city that's so connected and we love each other and we support everybody in the nursing staff, the healthcare heroes, 7 o'clock at night. Woo, that's great. And then we have leaders saying, we're helping you. By shutting down your business, we're helping you. We have leaders saying, we're helping you by not fixing NYCHA, but we're trying to. We're helping you. Well, now, in addition to NYCHA problems, you've got this other issue, which is a big deal. And then, as I mentioned, you've got students struggling on Zoom to keep in touch with the classes. So, yes, this ruling was put in 3 years ago. And it seems like de Blasio was right on it, and I'm very proud of that. This is a win for him. But how was nobody keeping up with this beforehand? How did statues become a thing? How did even protests, riots, and defense of those, in a sense, how did these politically charged topics, and Trump, of course, politically charged topics outpace the fact that 29% of our city, according to Ryan Deffenbaugh and according to the city comptroller Scott Stringer, don't have broadband access? How did that slip under our nose? It is a word I can use for this, as I've used for other things about the city, which is apathetic, apathy. We say we care for those who are needed to help the most. So then if that's the case, why do we all sort of let that slide under? Why is that not on the 5 o'clock news? It's not juicy, sure, but you know what? It'd be damn good honest if you were saying, yeah, we have to help these people out. Because I bet you didn't even know until listening to this that the comptroller had found 917,239 households don't have broadband access. Some of you probably did. The digital divide has been talked about, yes. But to the extent of this, I'm not sure. And so a very Merry Christmas to those city residents who are dealing with a NYCHA program that is still messed up, dealing with no internet, dealing with a library that, is closed right now because of the pandemic. How are these kids getting their education if they don't even have internet and they don't have a library to go to? How is this happening? Questions have to be asked. You say a blended schedule works, but how will it work for those who don't have the internet, Mayor de Blasio? And why are you punishing those who don't have internet? when you yourself has sued to get these same families internet, why are you then going after them with child support services? That doesn't make sense either, Mayor de Blasio. So let's stop going after the hard workers, the ones that are scraping it through to homeschool, literally homeschool, and get kids on the Zoom for families a block, if almost every family a block, it feels like. I'm encouraged that this is happening. I think it's a great gift. What I'm only discouraged about is that no one really talks about this. No one talks about how the greatest city in the world, a city that has pulled each other through this pandemic, still has those left in the dark, both without lights and without internet. How can we be okay with that? How can we be just, okay, the comptroller came out with this report, let's move on to something else? It's why I think even assembly members are needed up in Albany to fight for these people that don't have internet. But you might say, oh, it's a 2017 thing. They just need litigation to play out. I know that. But it shouldn't take a report and then a big story about a win to make us aware of that. We should always be on our toes about what's going on in the city. Because if we're not on our toes, the city will be swept away from under our feet, or in my case, foot. They'll be able to get away with, Verizon will be able to get away with 500,000 plus city homes not having internet. We can't let them. I know the de Blasio administration didn't let them, but I didn't really hear updates about the lawsuit either, and I think they could have. Said, hey, you know what? Parents, I know you're struggling, but we won't send CPS after you. You know why? Because we've got a lawsuit that's going on right now against Verizon that is going to help you in the long run. Only 58% of black New Yorkers have internet access, broadband access, compared with 82% of white New Yorkers, according to the New York Urban League. The deal with Verizon won't provide the city with universal broadband access, however. That is the goal of a master plan the mayor's office released in January. We're going to open up wide swaths, is the mayor's plan, for city's public infrastructure, roofs and telephone poles for bidding to install broadband equipment. We're going to have competition to provide these homes, and I love that too. So while he's kept the ball on it, publicly he's not. Or he's not really seemed to do that. I didn't hear about this until Ryan Deffenbaugh covered it in the Crane's Business, November 30th edition. But how do you think you would want to help? I think we can contribute to the New York Urban League, who's fighting the battle for our inner city right now to get broadband access. I think that's a big asset right now in this fight. I would certainly recommend them, as they are bringing a Christmas gift through litigation to 917,000 people. Well, 500,000 of those 917. We got a ways to go. But it's just one of those things where we can't take the ball off it. Speaking of ball, I am, by the way, very, very, I'm laughing inside. Because last week I said we should highlight the wins that these teams have. Jets have a win yesterday. Everybody's so ticked off. It puts the draft pick position in jeopardy of the first pick. They might now get second pick after that win. I just think it's funny that after I mentioned we should highlight the wins, they won. The Jets won, and they were highlighted negatively for winning. Can't make that up, right? You know your team is bad when a win is going to disrupt your future. That's crazy to me to think of. But while we're putting our eyeballs on that and what the Giants are doing and whatever Steve Cohen and the Mets are doing, if you're putting your eye on sports, if you're putting your eye on the president, if you're putting your eye on more COVID relief, if you're putting your eye on everything else, are we really fighting the battles of New Yorkers that are living side by side with us? I don't think so. I think we take the ball off those side by side us when we do focus on other things other than what's really needed in the city. And so I hope today you take a look at this 500,000 homes to get Verizon broadband internet access. 29% of the city up until last year have not had it. Why did Verizon drag its feet? Why are they now saying it's an opportunity when they didn't do anything to begin with? I'm yelling because it's maddening that this mayor can be in litigation and still send child support services to homes that don't have the internet. You know this, Mayor Bill. Why are you going after these parents? Or to have quality internet access. And this is going to be another part of capitalism in the community. I know it's a court settlement. But Verizon's agreeing to do it too. And they will be in the community. And there's going to be capitalism in the community because these poles, these phone poles, these wires, these roofs filled with internet capability, that's going to be bidded on by companies to wire up our inner city and fix this problem once and for all. And that is the definition of capitalism in the community. When you have competition to help the community, that is capitalism in the community. Lawsuit or no lawsuit. And so because of capitalism, a system that some out there don't even want to have, that capitalism, that corporation is about to be utilized to better New York City. Think about that. That corporation is about to be utilized to help 500,000 New York City homes. If that doesn't move you this Christmas season, I don't know what does. If that doesn't excite you in any way, that the New York Urban League, the mayor, have gotten these corporations to step up because you don't like corporations, then you're being blind spotted here. You have a blind spot here. Let's take the blinders off. Let's honestly say corporations are good for the community. Let's honestly say capitalism is good for the community. Let's honestly say this is the best stocking stuffer a home could get because NYCHA's not helping them that much. They still have no heat. They still have cold. They still have cold water in some places. At least Verizon agreed to help out more. Impelled by a lawsuit, I know, but even so. So while Mayor de Blasio talks about socialism could be a good thing, he understands capitalism is the way to go. He says, we're going to have you compete for these wires to wire up our city. That's competition. That's capitalism. That is beautiful. And I hope whoever gets it, whether it be Verizon or Optimum, whoever gets it, whoever gets to bid and gets a contract with the city to help out, they get recognized and they are honored instead of talked down to, instead of their CEO being talked down to, oh, the 1%, look at this. Yeah, well, that 1% is also helping you out now. New York City, 500,000 homes are going to be fixed. I freaking love it. I think you should love it too. I think Christmas and capitalism go hand in hand. I think this is a great example of a Christmas gift by capitalism in the community. Just like having a job with Starbucks or McDonald's. You might not like the big corporation heads, but think of the barista on the block around the corner from you. They have a job. They're actually getting helped by Starbucks. And that's nothing to laugh about, New York City. So congratulations to the mayor and Verizon for settling this. Congratulations to our 500,000 city homes for becoming broadband connected in the next half year. And congratulations to capitalism for once again showing us no matter how many people want to tear it down, you are still needed and you are still helping the community. So Merry Christmas. And what a great Christmas gift for this beautiful city, the Big Apple. We literally had a vaccine injection the other day. We now have an injection of internet broadband coming in the next few months. Pray to God for those who need it. That number of those who don't have the internet could be dwindled to 417,000, whatever. Great. Now, let's not keep our eye off this. I'm Alex Garrett. I'm hoping to have the New York Urban League or some organization dealing with this on the next couple of days. But until then, have a great Christmas time. It's still the season. It's still gifts coming our way here in New York City. And we should honor that. Not the downtroddenness we're hearing on our state TV and radio everywhere. No. There's some good gifts coming to the city. And we got to focus on those too. Have a great day.